One of our wonderful 7 Days comedians bringing his show Anglo-Saxon to the festival this year. Please welcome TJ McDonald.
Hi. So I quit smoking recently. Thank you, 8 people. That's very nice. It's one of those things, it's just too embarrassing now, you know? Like, the more socially unacceptable it's become, the more people feel like they can yell out at you. Like, a couple of weeks ago, I was walking through town, minding my own business, you know, having a cigarette, and I stopped at a crossing, and then this mum and her little girl stopped next to me, and the little girl did this thing where she looked up at me and she went, "Why do you smoke?" Right? Yeah, what a bitch. So I looked at her mum like, control your child, you know. But her mum did nothing. Just stared back with this real smug look that said, "Yeah, that's right. You've chosen death. Why don't you explain that to my little girl?" So I looked back at her with, "All right, I will. Okay, little girl, and for starters, when you've got a face like this, never say little girl, all right? It's just creepy for everyone." All right, tiny child thing, it's very complicated, but hopefully you'll follow the science on this. Basically, every time I drag on this cigarette, the nicotine that I take in enhances the dopamine reaction from the massive joint that I had just before I left my house. So I'm high as balls right now. I just stared at her mum and went, "Your call." It was great. Her mum said nothing for ages. And someone tapped me on the shoulder. Turned out I'd been lecturing a rubbish bin, So I'm clean, which is great. As a comedian, I find I often offend people, especially religious people. And if you are religious and I do offend you, then I'm sorry about that. You know, it's one of those things. I'm not religious myself. I was raised religious, but then when I got older, I thought about it. Yeah, turns out that's all you need to do. So give it a shot. I went on my big OE last year. I went to the States. It was a fantastic trip, but a couple of months into my trip I was feeling very homesick. And I got to Washington DC, and I was staying with this American friend of mine. I told him how I felt, and he went, "Oh, we should go to the zoo." Because the zoo in Washington DC has the first kiwi that was born outside of New Zealand in captivity. I said, "That sounds amazing. Have you seen it?" He said, "No." I said, "You have to see it, right? It's a majestic beast." Admittedly, I was pretty high at the time, but it is a mighty bird. Come with me. So I took him to the zoo, right? We got on the bus and we went straight into the Nocturnal House. And we're standing there, as you do, with your faces kind of pressed up against the glass for about 15 minutes. We couldn't spot the kiwi anywhere. And my friend was like, "Hey, maybe we should go, look at some other animals." And that's the point where I got super patriotic, you know? That's the point where I went, "You know what? No, fuck you, no. I've been in your country for 2 months, eating your shitty food, listening to your shitty Justin Bieber. I'm not leaving this room until I see my national bird. It is taonga. Or tauranga. I'm very white. I'm not really sure how it works." But I ended up making my friend wait with me for an hour and a half in that room, right? But it was an amazing hour and a half. Like, I got this huge insight into the whole American way of life. Like, you know how they say Americans are really stupid? Like, they are. It's amazing. Like, there was this dad that walked in with his daughter, right? And they came in and they came up to the glass and she went, "Oh, Daddy, with the kiwi, is the bird named after the fruit or is the fruit named after the bird?" And he went, "You're so silly. It's because the bird eats the fruit. So, come along." Well, my favourite, right, was this mum that walked in with her son, and they walked in and he just freaked out and went, "Oh no, Mummy, why is it dark in here?" And she went, "Oh, that's just because it's night time in Australia." Yeah, but I think 2 things there, right? Like, 1, obviously that's the wrong country. But 2, it's not like the Kiwi's keeping track of times. It's not fucking jet lagged. That's not how it works. So as I turned to my American friend to berate his country for an education system that is so bad, the kids can't even read the sign in front of them that says where the bird is from, I realised that for an hour and a half, we had been standing next to a sign that read, "We are very sorry, but the Kiwi is with the vet today." But the good thing is, they did actually cure my homesickness, you know? Because standing in a Nocturnal House for an hour and a half and not seeing a kiwi, it's the same experience I've had at every New Zealand zoo I've ever been to. You guys have been fantastic. Thanks very much.